What is up, you goons? Anaheim 2 happened last weekend, and the Dirtworks crew must have a gambling debt to the mob, because the track was smashing more people than Bonnie. Ew. More fight videos dropped, and if we get one more fight in the stands, Dana White will start recruiting for the UFC at Supercross. I haven't seen that many dudes hit on since a Pride parade. That is a joke. I've never been to one. Someone's going to say I've been to one. I'm married to a straight woman. Let's just put that out there. I do want to point out that I was half right. I said Sexton would win A2, but I also said Kitchen would win, and I now blame the Dirtworks crew and the fact that they are probably ran by the CIA to make me look dumb. In 250 Heat 1, Chance Hummus and Levi Kentucky rocketed to the front. Those two would then battle with rider G. Francisco, but then Chance Hummus seat bounces on a triple that seems to break apart faster than J-Law's career, and Levi Kentucky front flips like he's Patrick Evans. These Cowies got to be made by Boeing with how much they crash right now. Levi Kentucky, however, does stay in 4th place, which could be the first person to front flip and still qualify for the main event. That's why we're Levi Kentucky fans here. But then a battle for the final transfer spot happened. Dylan Shouty passed them all, and then Freehill tries to freeze Schloster. I'm not drunk, that was really hard to pronounce. But Freehill takes himself out, and it looks like he broke his wrist. You hate to see it. Chance Hummus goes P1, and Weege, our prophet of motocross, called it Anaheimus. I love Weege. That's clever. I could never do that. Rider G goes P2, and Handbrake Max goes P3. Then came 250 Heat 2. Team Nami is back with the worst colored bike I've ever seen. And the first corner looked like a damn Yamaha commercial with all the star guys up front, except Sakadoo showing him they better be worried. Deegan Stand goes into first without hitting Anstie. That's new. Avery Longdong battle with Bordon for the final spot. And then Avery Longdong goes on to get the final transfer. Haiden Dorito goes P1 and Anstie P2. Then the most exciting race of the night, the 250 LCQ. Everyone stayed up in the first corner, but don't worry, because Shaw said, F it, and I'm going to try to quad this, and somehow doesn't get landed on. And then the very next lap decides, F it again, and says, I want to only double and a half it, and cases the absolute shit out of the jump. That dude could secure a Toyota sponsorship with his ankles alone because they never break. And then the leader, Theory, also said, F this berm, and jumps around it and still holds on to second. Then, in the last corner, Jorgensen says, hold my monster, and takes out Massagianello, again, not drunk, these are just really hard names, up high and gets the pass for the final transfer into the main. In 450 Heat 1, George Prada gets the whole shot, and then the Cowboy and the Kangaroo battled. Yeah, that was cringe to say, I'm sorry. George Prada and AP began to battle for the first position, but then on the last lap, AP decided to pay homage to the Cowboy Kenny Bartram and goes flying through the air as he ended the triple. But he does get up and finishes despite falling from the sky. Get that man a Coors and a trip to Turkey. I say that as someone who's also hairline challenged, okay? That wasn't a dig. You think I wear a hat like this because it looks cool? Then came 450 Heat 2. RJ Hamster gets the whole shot with Cooper Wombat going into the lead. Chase Saxophone, who is sporting Andy Irons inspired gear, which is cool as hell, slotted into third but quickly went into second. Eli Tacos moved up to third while Saxophone and Webb battled, but then like taxes and fighting with my wife, the day I think my wife and I haven't fought in a while. Chase Rexton goes down. Damn it, Sexton. I don't want to make these jokes. I want you to win the championship, but I'm a slave to the comments. This puts the tucked ears in first with Eli Tacos once again testing his new Achilles and launches into the straightaway and does pass Cooper Wombat. The Cowboy did pop up on the screen to let us all know he wants a Ford sponsorship because he's built tough and will be racing in the main event. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not on my yay game today. I kind of laughed, okay? It was kind of funny. Then it was the 450 LCQ. Epstein's favorite client, Vince Freeze, gets the whole shot, but Shane Macaroni freezes Freeze. You know what I mean. Shane Macaroni, who also doubles as a doctor in the week, started battling with Brees, who is sporting the No Fear gear. No Fear also has no fear of inventory, because when the are they going to drop any gear? Miller goes down, which also leaves Meshy down, and the Triumph Tough Block begins confusing everyone. Dr. McElrath goes P1. Brees does throw a heel clicker over the finish line, which earns him G of the weekend. And Vince Epstein goes P3. Damn! And in this round, SMX had their race. This is where amateurs, I do air quotes because only in moto are amateurs as fast as pros. And to be honest, I stopped watching amateurs when Verb Moto went away. Okay, I'm in my unk years, leave me alone. But these homeschooled kids began the rhythm section while 2 of them absolutely eat shit. And that brought out the red flag. Absolutely hate to see that. I wasn't making a joke. You never want to see anyone crash, let alone amateurs. Then the restart happened. Nick Way's son goes into second with Manier in the lead. Cade Johnson goes OTB in the whoop section. Vincenzo Way and Dudney battled for second. And we got the next generation of Kawi versus Yamaha. Vincenzo Way then plays 5D chess, cases the triple, and almost takes out Dudney. It's probably on accident, but we like Vincenzo Way. Dudney does get around Way, and then like the 250 class, a battle of the Star Yamaha started and go 1, 2, and 3. All Star Yamaha. Can we get another brand in the mix, please? Star's gonna need a Boeing sponsorship with how many riders they got at this point. Because how the do you transport that many people? And after probably a couple fights, the 250 main event. Now this will be a short recap of the mains because, like the Epstein files, the highlights are redacted and not released fully. And I think I know why. Into the first corner, Avery Longdong goes too long, into Sakadu, causing Chance Hummus to go down in a pileup, and he is now injured. L's in the chat. We wish him for a quick recovery. And then my week as a Kitchen fan gets harder, and he goes down again. I am telling you, either Pro Circuit hired someone from Boeing, or Levi has an ex-girlfriend who is a witch, because I can't explain this. Both are extremely likely at this point, because he got the chance of winning like a Mormon in Vegas. That makes sense if you don't think about it. Because Levi's whole shot device doesn't release and his front wheel becomes possessed and twitches around like Jeremy Stenberg before a backflip. Now, Michael Mozzarella was leading the race while all this was going on for the majority of the time, and Haiden Deegan stand then came through and we almost got a repeat of last weekend, and the bedazzled boots gets around his teammate. Hayden Doritos goes P1, Mozzarella P2, and rider G Francisco in third. Another weekend with the stash on top. Then it was the 450 main event. Jason Applebee's must have gotten someone's hot spot and updated that Suzuki for more horsepower and hole shots. Hunter Linguini goes in second, and Chase Saxophone into third, with Eli Tacos not far behind. Chase Saxophone then showed the sand section. That was a lot of S's. He's the top G in the field and passes Hunter Linguini for second. The Cowboy then overjumps a triple, which lets the tucked ears of Cooper Wombat go by. And half of my prediction from last week becomes true. Oh, Vince Freeze is trying to take me out. And half of my prediction from last weekend becomes true. Chase Saxophone sets up a perfect pass around Jason Applebee's. They battle a bit, but there's no footage. Thanks, Obama. And again, Eli said, "F my Achilles," and launches past Hunter Linguini. He then pulls the same pass on Jason Applebee's. The steel Achilles is working overtime this weekend. Chase Saxophone then checks out a bit and goes P1. It is his first win on the Cowie. Hunter Linguini goes P2, Eli Tacos P3, and Team Fried P4. It was a great night of racing all around, except a few people did get injured, which sucks. Now, I'm going to predict a little bit more. If Texas this weekend is hard pack, expect to see some tucked ears go P1, Tomac P2, and Kenny Red Bull P3. I'll see you next weekend, goons.